Advanced Channel Ring Tutorial. Hi, I'm Nikki Lovegrove, and today's video is an advanced way to make a channel ring or bead even if you don't have a lathe. DIY kits for these channel rings are available on my website, keepsakersupplies.com. This video may be triggering for some because I mentioned baby loss, so please choose another video if you find this upsetting. The tutorial is dedicated to Greater Manchester Doulas CIC, which is my client Amy's organisation. They provide emotional support to mothers and families who have experienced a loss at any stage, and they have funding to make this support free. They want parents to know that no matter how early the loss, they can still grieve and honour their baby in any way that feels right for them. I'm working with dried placenta here from a baby that has passed away. I begin by cutting it into small pieces, then grinding it as fine as possible. There's a link in the description for this channel ring kit. You will also need the silicone ring holding tool and a drill and a set of diamond polish pastes. I like to mark the sides of the ring so I know the resin is an even layer. If you're working with multiple pieces, you can write the colour on the side in ultra-fine Sharpie, which will come off later when you polish them. Always remember to triple check your rings are the correct size. I'd recommend going a little bit bigger with a wider ring like this, and you can send the ring to your client to try on before making it. A full channel ring can't be resized. The first layer should be clear resin because this helps provide a strong bond with the silver. Resin with additions such as colour or ashes isn't as strong. I put the resin on 1/3 of the ring, cure it for about 20 seconds under the UV lamp, then do the other 2/3 the same way. Don't forget to use a piece of cardboard covered with tin foil to protect yourself from UV damage from the lamp. If you're using epoxy resin, you'll need a cup turner, and this would work in just 2 layers. For the second layer, I'm mixing some resin sparkle mix with a little more clear resin so it's not too opaque to cure. Add a very thin layer of this coloured resin to 1/3 of the ring, then add some of the placenta or cremation ashes with a cocktail stick. You could also mix preserved and dried breast milk into this layer if it's a breast milk ring. I'll do a tutorial for a lock of hair channel ring soon because the hair is added after the coloured layer. Continue with the other 2/3 of the ring, overlapping the layers slightly until you have covered the base and sides of the channel with an opaque layer. I'm only curing for 20 seconds at a time because those bits will be cured fully the next time it's under the lamp. Make sure that you wipe off any resin that goes onto the top or sides of the ring. Between each cure, you can also use your fingernail to scrape off any cured bits. With this method, you don't have to worry too much about this though, because you'll be sanding the sides of the ring later, and that will remove any mistakes. Your last layer should be completely clear resin. This needs to be what's called proud of the surface, so it's domed a bit. This will be sanded down later. Work in thin layers, doing 1/3 at a time to stop the resin pulling underneath. But again, it really doesn't matter if it pulls a little bit. Check that you haven't missed any bits and top them up with clear resin, otherwise you'll have dips in the finished resin. Once it's fully cured, it's time to sand the ring. To save time, you can use a coarse sanding stick or a burr bit to sand off the highest bits of resin, but be careful not to sand too far down or, again, you'll create dips. If you do that by accident, just add a bit more clear resin and cure a few times. Be super careful not to scratch the setting though. I'm using the ultra fine sanding pads I sell on keepsakesupplies.com, starting off with 1000 grit. Sand the sides and the shoulders or corners of the ring. Then the resin part by putting the ring on a silicone ring turning tool on a drill. Flip the ring the other way up every now and again so you don't sand one side further down than the other. Work your way up the grits. I'm using 2000, then 3000. These will remove the scratches from the coarser grit and prepare the silver and resin for polishing. With solid silver and gold rings, it doesn't matter if you sand down the metal a bit, but if you have a coated ring, for example something with a black rhodium plating, then this method won't work and you should use the easy method I showed you in the Opal Ashes channel ring tutorial. Once you've done 3000 grit, you can move on to the diamond polishing paste. I'll leave a link to them below. I got mine on Amazon. I cut a cotton rag into pieces and keep one piece with each of the pastes. Work from the smallest number grit, 3000, up to the largest number, 10,000. But please bear in mind that the numbers on the paste might get smaller as you work your way up the grits. Go by the grit number rather than the paste number to be certain. Finish off the rings with a silver polishing cloth. The inside of the ring should be shiny, but if you need to, repeat the polishing process with cotton bits in a rotary tool with the polishing paste. Or you can use ultra-fine sanding bits if that's easier. You could use those on the outside of the ring if you prefer, and I'll show you this method on the next channel ring tutorial. Will you try this method of making channel rings? I found it a bit more time consuming than the resin only, easy method, but the result is a bit more perfect. Please set reasonable expectations for yourself and with your clients though. Resin jewellery will never be perfect and it's the joy of handmade. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel and give this video a like to see more like it in the future. Now relax and do some crafting.